Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to our market close stream. Uh, well, let's get into it as soon as possible and without further ado. Let's check with the top of the market AMC. Yes, that is 18, almost 19%. It went up to as 60.50 and still going up. There is going to be a cross. I mean, it looks like that. So very good. Corsair is another stock that actually jumped. Like it had like 17% short interest, but for some reason it just jumped suddenly. I have no idea if this was um, Wall Street Bets kind of journal or not, but yeah, Riot and Mara gave up a little bit from their gains. They went up to 32 today. Why 32? Well, I don't know. But anyway, they are coming back a bit. That was just a freak of a run and rally actually there. I have no idea why it happened like that. I mean, of course, we know why it happened like that. It happened because of Bitcoin, but it was just a little bit too much in that sense. Let's see how it happens. I think the fact that Bitcoin got to 40,000 was enough for many of these mining basically stocks to actually get some sort of a momentum. There, Coinbase up 6%. I mean, still at low 200s. This is a stock that when it was at its IPO, people were talking about 600, 700 kind of pricing. It from went to 400 and then went up to 430 and then boom, it got hammered. SRNA lost a little bit. Square, Roku, Shopify, and then DM, Virgin Galactic, Huya, Mango, Mongo database, MB Material, Twilio. These are the gainers of today's session. And if you want to have a look at the loser, CLF, Fuel Cell Skills, Vuzi, Sumo minus 5.5%. I still pretty much like this stock. I don't know. I don't know for what happens in the future, but I think if it's one of those stocks that I like to add, just that this is too expensive now. If you get it around 16, like below 17 or at 17 range, that's a very good price for this, and it would be awesome. I think it is. It can go back easily to 25, 30, for that matter. But Moderna, another one. Roblox. I am actually a little bit wondering why Roblox went. So, I mean, the rally was insane, honestly. So it could be just honestly just a breather here, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a little bit too much. It's a very fast-growing company, but I mean, if I want to get it, it should be like really at 70s, those ranges. It went down to low 60s, but yeah. DraftKings, another one, Plug, Tilray, QuantumScape, OCGN. These are the other losers in the system. Let's listen a little bit in the
Apple,
Yahoo
that
Finance.
stock in the green today, up just around 2%. Some excitement following the announcement of some new earphones. The stock
Meantime,
having
I'm
its
going to check
best
some
day
stocks.
that it has had in quite some time, in a couple weeks now. They announced $150 wireless earphones with noise canceling, and it's compatible with its Android app. Now, the Beats brand aiming to capture a bigger share of this mass market out here. The Beats Studio Buds are available to order immediately, and they start shipping on June 24th. Again, it looks like investors are excited on this news. The stock up 2%, trading just around $130 a share. Adam?
Shauna, pay attention to AMC once again. And the critics like to point out that the Reddit, Wall Street Bets, retail investors make mistakes, but they may be onto something that the critics should listen to. Stock's been up 18% throughout the day. It's up almost 19% right now.
Yes, baby.
And remember that last week it ended the week up 3%. It ended the week up before that 83%. And part of the reason that it may be on a tear is that post-pandemic summer movie season underway. Films like A Quiet Place 2, Cruella de Vil hitting theaters. And A Quiet Place 2, by the way, became the first film to reach $100 million at the domestic box office. First time since February 23rd of 2020 when Sonic the Hedgehog did that. And it took Sonic the Hedgehog 10 days after its release to hit that point. So the Reddit crowd may be onto something with AMC. But then there's the airlines. Pay attention to this. We created a 5-board for you on the airlines because today the big names are all trading down. JetBlue, by the way, is going to inaugurate its service to London come August. But there are a couple of things in play here. First, this is June. This is the last month of the quarter. And remember, some of the airlines like Delta, United, we're talking about going cash flow neutral to cash flow positive this quarter. So we're going to see if they can live up to that. But want to let you know that Roger Dow, the president and CEO of U.S. Travel Association, is going to join us in the 4 o'clock hour because there's now a task force for the United States and the United Kingdom to open up the skies between both countries, and that is a very lucrative route for the airlines. Shauna?
All right, Adam, thanks. Let's talk about the cost of shipping containers because it's been skyrocketing. It's something that we've been following here for the...
Yeah, I'm not really interested into that. But I'm actually looking at one of the stocks that I have been studying it a little bit. This is CPNG. It's a Korean kind of company which actually does basically commerce and things like that, deliveries and things like that. So it's a player who has recently also reached to Japan, I guess. So I mean, I actually, based on what I saw, below 40 sounds like a good trade. Of course, there is this factor that it's not in United States, so there could be some risk with that in that sense. So it's just that I don't know. In my opinion, it can go to the range of 60 in a year or so, but I'm not that sure. So that is, at least in my idea, that is not guaranteed in a sense. So, and the fact is that I don't have enough money to spend on everything. So in that sense, I feel like maybe there are better plays. But if it was really like down here, like if it was really 30, then this was completely this different story. Like to 60, that was almost 100, like it was a double. Now it's basically half, so almost half. So I'm not really sure in that sense if that's gonna be a good test or not, but I'm gonna study a little bit more into that. Hopefully I get something out of that one. Yeah, can you test Tilray? Tilray, of course, we can check Tilray. Tilray was one of the down movements, yeah. And when you look, I mean, okay, in longer term, this has been obviously, it is clear that it has been consolidating in this range, and it somehow broke out of it. So in that sense, that's a bullish sentiment, but I think still it's not a buy target from a technical analysis point of view. I would wait for this thing to come back a little bit, maybe around 15, 16 again, and then when there is a cross here, there is a cross both in higher time frame and lower time frame, then we can actually take a position there. So for now, I don't know. I would suggest to wait a little bit, because here's the thing: if you come back here, you're gonna use 15-16%, but then you don't know how long it will take to actually go back up again. So you're gonna actually put your money in something for a long time. If you want to take it as a trade, I would suggest wait for the entry signal and then enter, and that would hopefully be a faster. Basically, you will get the result faster. Basically, that's my opinion at least. So let's see. Still, they're talking about shipping cost. Of course, shipping cost is also becoming a little bit of problem for also China and Asia as well, because of the corona clusters and things like that. But yeah, check the market news. Nothing really against the slam. That's China nuke. Leaky sentiment. Then cut to sell after the run up. Microsoft gaming head. Oatly stumbles and anything with some surgical to Solar Edge is actually gonna be excluded from Russell 3000. Yeah, just Kevin saying.
So I'm going to quickly I would just want to look at projected earnings. And these are Wall Street projected earnings. Usually when I do my deep fundamental analysis, I do my own projected earnings. And then after I do my own projected earnings, I compare to Wall Street to see how we compared. But right now for 2025, we're selling for 54.6 times. We're selling for as expensive as a price right now as Tesla. Personally, I'd rather pick Tesla right now over Airbnb, and then I'd rather hedge my Tesla purchase with like Google. Is something that I'd probably do. So what else do we have here? Then we've got. Let's go back to the sticks here.
So guys, today we talked about taking a position in Shopify. So it was a move like around 1.5%, 1.6% trade. I didn't take it obviously because in my opinion the risk to reward ratio was not good enough for this trade, unless I would have expected it to go all the way up, and I wasn't sure of that one. So
folks, we IPO'd and we sat in the 60s for nearly 2 months. And then all of a sudden we get a rocket ship coming out of Palantir. I'm sorry, out of Roblox. And then we rotate to the downside is where we stand right now. Thanks for saying the course is great, very user-friendly. Appreciate that. So we've got Lion Electric down 4.5. We got Churchill Capital rotating to the downside as well. A lot of you are mentioning Palantir, so let's go take a peek at Palantir. Palantir here, I'm assuming you're talking about the 1 minute. There's nothing happening in the 1 minute. We are at an even 25, which is very nice. So it's good to be at back to the good old days here on on Palantir. Palantir, boy, oh boy, has this one gone through the crap. Gee whiz.
Let's look at Palantir.
Yeah, look at just the garbage here that Palantir has been through, breaking through every meaningful level of.
Let's have a look at Palantir. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. I mean, honestly speaking, the up movement has been slowed down. So it can still go up, of course. But I also want to see if this thing comes down and then goes back up, but maybe it doesn't, I mean, it can come down here and play a little bit and then move, but it definitely broke out of that basically lower channel that it has been for some time.
Of stocks, things go in favor for a period of time, and then they fall out of favor for a period of time. It's so important to know that as an investor, because otherwise you're going to freak out. Especially if you buy over here and it goes lower, you buy over here and it goes lower. You feel like you made a big mistake. You feel like, why did I invest in that? And it's just a matter of time for very quality companies to rotate back. And that's very important. AMC holding firm here into the close. No major running activity here in the last couple hours here. Mostly trading sideways here. We've got Riot Blockchain and a Marathon, not as high as they were earlier in the day. We did get a run.
Let's check some of the stocks before actually close. We have 15 minutes time. I actually don't see a buy right now, but I mean Sumo. I love to know what happened with Sumo really. Like nothing. Nothing. In my opinion, Sumo Logic is a very good company. Is very cheap right now. I mean, it's honestly, if it gets below 17, absolutely, it's a steal. It's another data company similar to Palantir, but I would compare this more with Splunk and Datadog. And why I think Datadog has a higher revenue. Uh, by the way, I didn't take this trade. Just ignore it for now. Uh, it's much more expensive. So it is really, you're paying a premium to get this one. While for Sumo Logic, I think it absolutely has the capability to actually beat, from a stock performance point of view, the Datadog and Splunk. And Splunk, by the way, got really hammered recently based on some downgrade. I don't think that's a bad company either, honestly.
Here says they think.
Uh, what else? What else do we have? So we had Sumo. We had Sumo. Moderna. Still, Moderna is too expensive for me. Moderna really has to come back to 200 EMA for me. That's just, I mean, somewhere around 170, 180. Like, even that is not really a good price in my opinion. The prices of Moderna has been really up by the fact because of COVID basically. DraftKings. DraftKings is a buy at the range of this 44, 45 and below. That's my opinion. You can, I mean, I have a price target of 80, 90 on this one, and you already have 74 as a top here, so you might actually get once bounced here and then come back, or maybe it just gets bounced, something like that. But I mean, from here to here, I mean, it honestly has a good rate, but also the down is a lot as well. So it's 2 to 1 basically risk to reward ratio. So I don't know, not yet, not yet. Frog is another one. Frog, I want Frog actually to retrace a little bit. If it comes back to this level, then I would be very happy to 40s. Like 40, I mean, I don't think it gets back to 34, at least for now. Maybe it does if there is a bad news or something, but for now, I want Frog really around this range, or even that range. Like I'm really much more comfortable to get it at around 40, 41. That is a very good point in my opinion, and it's reasonable to get back. I mean, this thing probably gonna move up if it's capable of breaking out of 200, because it has been really pushed down. But we want another, like a smaller time frame retracement and then go back in it again. What else are these guys talking about? Let's quickly check. Nothing really. stock mix as fixed and looms on Wednesday?
Things from a fundamental perspective have also said we built in so much into rates market expectations earlier this year. We've had to have a consolidation as we've seen some of this data. And I think things are at least probably better balanced at this point to now respond to both the Fed's messaging and the data that we get in the future.
Matthew, we also got the Novavax news out today. Its vaccine's 90% effective. Taking a look at the market's reaction, not showing much reaction actually at all to this, but I'm curious to get your perspective from a reopening story, especially on a global scale. How are you looking at this development?
Yeah, I think it's maybe surprising. We also got from the UK some delaying of some of the reopening.
At the same time, I tried to look at some stocks. We don't have much time.
Focused in the US, which has just expected to see great growth, great inflation, great labor market data, consumer spending really taking off. And it's been relatively immune, I think, so far to whether it's news on some of the variants that are that are a little bit more difficult to deal with, or some delays in reopening that have been taking place, some of the lagging process in the U.S. on vaccination rates. So it's a market that has brushed a lot of that aside, and I think as we go forward, if we continue to get some data both from a labor market perspective and growth perspective that disappoints, we may view risks as being a little bit more balanced on both sides, that there is actually downside risks out there as well. It's something that we heard from Governor Brainerd recently. And so I wouldn't be surprised to hear Chair Powell actually acknowledge some of those facts as well on Wednesday.
All right. Always good to see you, Matthew Luzetti, Deutsche Bank Chief U.S. Economist. And just a reminder, Brian Chung covers the Fed for us, and we'll be covering that meeting on Tuesday and on Wednesday, as well as the press conference with Chair Powell. When we come back, we're going to have Jared Blickfried get us ready for the closing bell.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to you when Jared comes on. But yeah, let's look. Someone is asking if actually I bought something today. I actually did. I actually added a little bit to Baidu, and also what else did I buy? I bought AMS. So this is Swiss basically stock. I bought a little bit of that, but nothing really after that. I bought something else, I forgot right now. These are my two buys. I think JD also was a good, I mean, I still think maybe JD goes down a little bit more, but it went today to 7.50, so I think that was a good buy again. I didn't buy it. Now that you mention, I'm actually thinking of doing that because I love JD. But yeah, let's look at our performance today. The last week we have done like 2% up. Today it's 0.6. I've been hammered in the past couple of months because of the obviously the correction that we got. But yeah, Fastly. Let's actually look at Fastly. I remember this thing was yeah. Yeah. Thing went to 40s. My God, it was at 140 at the time. Yeah, 7 minutes. Let's keep an eye on Yahoo Finance. I want to actually listen to Jared as well. No before so rallies more than 10%. Actually, our company uses no before, so it's interesting when they email you. Their email so that you go and fill up test or something for cybersecurity trainings. Their email itself sounds like a spam. So everyone got the same feeling in our company. So they were asking, was that a spam or? So that was interesting in that sense. But I don't know, guys. I'm not really sure because we already been in the past week or two. We were really moving up, so I'm not sure what to buy. Let's listen to Jared and come back again.
Beginning here, so I'm not sure what's going on, but somebody's walking through. There's a procession right now, so we'll get an update on that later. But I'll tell you what, with the Dow down and the Nasdaq up strongly, almost at a record high, you would think that the bond market would be reflecting that. Instead, the opposite has happened. But we'll go into that later around the bell. I want to take a look at some heat maps here. You can see some nice outperformance by the mega caps. Apple's up over 2%, best day in weeks. Alphabet's up 2/3%, Facebook up 1.5%, and hey, Tesla's up 1% as well. So let's check out the travel space here. And we are seeing some red here. The value cyclical trade really not working well today. Carnival Cruise Lines down 4%, Norwegian down about 3.5%. And let's take a look at the meme stocks to round out the action. Looks like GameStop still down about 1.5%, but the action has been in AMC today. That is up another 16%. We'll do a 5-day chart. You can see up now 4.5%. Very rocky road there for AMC, but tacking on some gains today.
16% up today.
We're going to check in with you in just a few minutes, but we need to take a quick break. On the other side, we have the closing bell.
Yeah. Yeah. So quite a, I would say, a green day, honestly. And most of the stocks were moving up, at least the mega cap, and that's where most of the money is. So it was a really moving up trade. I've been hearing a lot about that. Yeah, the overvalue, like valuation is too high and things like that. I mean, every day, every time we have just come out of a correction and still people say the same thing. It might happen at all the time, it doesn't matter. But the fact that if you want to be scared of not investing, I think that's not, you shouldn't chase. But the fact that they were talking about it felt a little bit weird, especially after the fact that we have spent such a long time in a downtrend and miserable times. Let's look at Tesla, NIO. These are some of our EV plays. Okay, so what actually happened is that Tesla I mean, let me check. This is like 4 or 5% move. One of the things is that it actually came out of this range, and it somehow looks like that it went, like if I look at 30 minutes, it back, come back again, and this time it got hit, and then it is going up. So it is, I mean, it still has room to go down a little bit more. I was honestly under impression that based on these data that Tesla should come back again. Still, it feels like it can, basically because of the Fed session. So I'm not surprised if tomorrow we see things go down a bit. So consider that. 3 minutes to bell. So let's quickly wrap up again some of the gainers. AMC is 15%, Riot Marot 13-12. Corsair, Can, NDX Coin, SRNE, Sinews Surgical went back to 3.4. Yeah. I think you can see that many of the stocks had like 4 point above 3% movement. Really good movement, especially some of the stocks that I am following quite closely. That was somehow also reflected in my performance today, but it's not about performance of the day, but really in long term you should see what's happening. Let's check again. Is there anything I want to check again? Maybe Lemonade. This is one of the stocks that I'm waiting to add to it a little bit more. It just had a crazy rally, like 79% movement from its down. So yeah, 1 minute to the bell, and let's see with Baidu. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait for Baidu. I don't have much money actually right now. I'm much like really invested a lot, and so I prefer to keep a little bit cash. If things go down a little bit, I can buy some of the goodest stuff as well. I think we're gonna have a bell. Let's
It's
listen.
going to hold on to gains up just around 0.1%, and the Nasdaq, which has been the outperformer for the entire trading day, now up just around 0.7%. Taking a look at some of these sector action, financials continuing to be the underperformer with the XLF off just around 1.5%.
By the way, we had the bell, so market close.
Energy. On the flip side, we have technology leading the way, not too surprising when you see the performance of the Nasdaq as well as communication services.
The guy is happy.
We have a closing bell. We're just waiting for the gavel, and that applause you were hearing were probably
Right.
the members of the armed services who were.
Right. Let's recap before ending the stream. One of the sectors, like in the past weeks, a couple of weeks, we saw that many of the stocks were moving. So, in my opinion, you should not be chasing for those high flying stocks. If you have some investment, it's not a bad idea to take some money out. It's not a bad idea to actually take some money out of it, but don't chase to buy things again when they are high. When things go move high, you can like gradually start taking some money out of them. So take your profit, wait a little bit. At least this is my style. And one of the like fields that actually some kind of stocks that did not move are really these Chinese stock. So things like Baidu, like things like PDD, like these are stocks that have been really going down, and they haven't seen that big of a move that like United States had. And that can be one of like most of the stock you can see had a huge rally in recent days. So maybe it's a good idea to look for those kind of investments. Like one of the other ones, in my opinion, is Qualcomm, but Qualcomm also had this kind of rally. The point is that Qualcomm has a lot of growth in front of it, and when you look at it like this, it only went up 11%. So it's not like, for example, you saw Lemonade was like 79%, or something like BNGO was how much? Like BNGO was around 80%. So these are stocks that might go up, but there is a huge also downside right now with them. So what I would suggest is that go and find stocks that are moving a little bit down, not only today but in the past days. I mean, of course you have to know the kind of stocks, but for example, Visa and not Visa, but I think Mastercard for a long time has been in a stalemate position. I actually think Mastercard will go down, so wait for that, in my opinion. And for example, one of the other good plays is Viacom. Like this is another one which, I mean, this thing is just itching to break out again. And this is simply after the huge issue with one of the famous hedge funds problem. But I mean, these are some of the plays that you want to be in. Like for example, Okta, when you look from the downtrend recently, it went up only 8% and it lost. I mean, Okta recently had some news in their conference, so because of that, it's actually down. These are the opportunities that you want to look. Like Chewy, it rallied like this, but now it has only 13% up. And again, these are the kind of stocks that I would suggest for you to take a look and see if you can find something interesting in that end. By that, thank you everyone for joining again, and we'll again talk to you tomorrow at the market open, and have a pleasant and lovely day ahead. Cheers.